legs. And we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bigfoot Odyssey's Researchers Report. It is Blueline Wednesday, one of 2 days a month where we kind of let our hair down, have a little bit of fun with the Bigfoot subject, kind of make fun of ourselves more than anything. We don't make fun of people. We've got some good stories for you tonight. Have a one from Mike Kirkpatrick. I hope he's here. Oh, he is here. I do see him. We're going to read. He sent it in, around Christmas time, didn't he? Yeah, we're just now getting around to it, Mike. We're sorry, but we're going to read that one tonight. And we got a couple others. Daniela sent to me some excellent stories. With me, as always, producer and co-host of the report, Miss Daniela Aiello. How are you, dear?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
Good.
And it just wouldn't be Blueline Wednesday without at least one of the BLB guys. Mr. Jake and Carl is also. We see Carl's arm.
Carl's here.
Yeah,
he's shy. He's a
little shy.
A little bit in, but
that's kind of his nature, though, isn't it? To be shy, I guess. Yeah, got some good stories to read tonight. Before we do that, we had. I really got to put a shout out to my boy Clay Campbell. I mean, he really came through for us. We were having some issues. We had pushed off our little camping trip expedition a couple of weeks because we had to. We didn't have a choice. But, everything is set now thanks to Clay. He got on there, man, and he worked it. He just finagled campsites. Yeah. And then they have so many rules in these different places that you can camp. There's like 4 different areas around there. And he got on there, got all our permits, we actually had to get a hotel room just so we could all go and take a shower because where the campsites are, we're not able to access a shower. So, it's not that big a deal. But he did it. He got us all hooked up. So nothing left to do but wait for the rest of our equipment to come in, which is all little stuff like infrared flashlights and for the night vision. And I think the guys are amped up. I'm pretty amped up. Yeah. So just shout out to Clay Campbell for stepping up and really getting it done for us. Kind of saved the whole trip, really, because I think we would have been camping on the side of the road somewhere, running a generator, trying to charge stuff. So we got it.
Good.
How's Jake tonight?
Squeaking in here at the last minute.
If everybody could have seen you running back and forth, jumping over the chair, I mean, you were pretty nimble.
Well, for a 50-year-old cat, I can still get over the candlestick.
You're not quite 50 yet.
Well,
you're pretty close though. You're right there. You're just about a year older than I am, aren't you? Anyway.
Hey.
Never ask a gentleman his age. Women, you can ask all day. Don't ask the guys, though.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that is what they say, isn't it? All right, I've got let me get one of these stories pulled up here. We got 3 good ones. We're gonna do Mike Kirkpatrick. We're gonna do his story first. I'm gonna do them in reverse order from what Daniela sent them to me. So here we go. This is everybody's friend and mine, Mr. Mike Kirkpatrick. We're probably not going to be funning around on this one, so just saying. And he writes, Kerry, I don't know how to start, but I feel guilty because Sharon wanted to go west. I didn't want to go toward the desert. I wanted to go fishing. So I took off east to Louisiana. While looking at the map, we decided Toledo Bend National Park. Looked great early September. We figured it would be off season, and it was. When we got there, the park ranger showed us the available camping spots, and out of 50 or 60, only about 5 were occupied. We picked the furthest away from everyone else because we could see from the diagram she had, we might have some privacy for our planned vacation. I had picked the most remote site away from everyone else, and knowing that it's off season, thought we would have some time to ourselves. Adult time, if you know what I mean. No, not sure what you mean there, Mike. Want to explain? We'll wait.
How's that? Yeah.
Explain it to us. No, I'm kidding. Everyone knows what you're talking about, buddy. All right, we made camp, which took a while. In a few hours, we felt blended. It was a long time. It was a long drive from San Antonio, but there was just enough time and daylight that I thought I would get my line wet. I wouldn't leave that alone. I paid for 5 days, so I didn't catch anything. It was okay. I had plenty of time to fish. Being on the dock was beautiful, me and nature. And I got a couple of bites, but all of a sudden, out in the distance, here comes a boat. I figured it was a ranger to ask for my fishing license. He seemed to be a local and asked me if I wanted some of his catch. He was so nice, so I said yes, and he gave me about 12 big perch. After thanking him, I headed back to the campsite, which was only about 50 yards away. I bet you told your wife you caught those fish. Honey, I caught 12 in just about 5 minutes. It was awesome. No, I'm kidding, Mike. Sorry. I had to clown on you just a little bit. Sorry. It was just starting to get dark, so the cooler full of fish, and with Sharon making camp, I thought this was the perfect start to a great vacation. We had noticed fish cleaning stations as we were wandering through the park trying to find our campsite number, so that's where we were heading. As soon as we got out of the van, we felt like we were being watched. We said that to each other. I said that it was just dark and that we were in a new place. Well, because I knew I was going to do all the cooking, I asked Sharon to clean the fish. Yeah, I would never ask Linda to do that. She was an expert, and she didn't have any problem with it. Anyway, the whole time she was cleaning the fish, my dog Razor and I were just hanging out around outside of this little shack. It's an awesome name for a dog, Razor. And I really began to feel that something was around us. And it's the feeling that you know when you know something just isn't right, but you can't put your finger on it. I had my eyes on the surrounding area, but by now it was hard to see anything past about 25 yards or so. I could hear movement in the near woods, but she had finished cleaning the fish, so we were heading back up to the campsite, which was only a few hundred feet away. We made a beautiful meal for the night, and we decided we made a beautiful meal of fish, onions, taters. I skipped a line. Fish, onions, taters, corn, and bacon. I feel like Grandpa Jones. Howdy. All right.
What's for supper?
Right. What's for supper? We had a battery-operated lantern that was really bright. So after eating, we decided to play a game. Yahtzee. Being tired from the long drive and full of delicious meal, we decided to pack it up for the night and get some sleep. It was only about 9 p.m., but we had a long day and we were tired. After settling in our new big tent, we started to easily drift off to sleep. Now, maybe about 30 minutes later, I could hear someone outside our tent walking around. I shoved my wife and she noticed my dog at alert. It was heavy footfall, like there was purpose in the steps. I peeked out of the tent but couldn't see anything, but I could still hear the walking, scraping footsteps. Being so far away from the other campsites, I thought it was someone wanting to greet us. So I got out of the tent, but I didn't see anyone. The fire was still going, so I just said, "Hey." No response. When I got back in the tent, Sharon asked who was that, and I had to say, I don't know. Every 25 or 30 minutes this went on, and I couldn't just barely get to sleep when I would hear something again. I had a .22 rifle in the van, but I at first thought that maybe some weirdo was walking around and maybe some young kids from one of the other campsites. My dog couldn't get comfortable, even after us trying to ease him asleep. And then about 12:30 or so, things started to get even weirder. With this constant activity, I got out of the tent and yelled, "I'm armed and I'm not afraid to shoot." Now, any human being would have run, but the heavy footfalls continued. The wind was blowing from the water, so we never got any smell, but the noise went on until 2:30 a.m. And I'm sure that there isn't any people around, nowhere near us. The stomping around and the fact that I had threatened them didn't seem to bother them at all. I know it was probably two of the creatures, but there's no way I can be sure. This went on for 5 hours. What could be making the sound of a linebacker, and yet every time I get out of the tent, I see nothing? I never got to see what was walking around, and it wasn't till later, after putting everything together, we figured it had to be Sasquatches, bush people, bush natives. We just felt like we were being watched and that we weren't wanted. My dog's hair was bristled for hours, and I had never seen him act like that. Razor was definitely feeling something too. Also, when we checked into the park, I can remember the lady looking at us as if she knew something that we didn't. I still wonder what she might have thought, what she must have thought of us paying for 5 days, but we were gone before morning. Looking back at the situation, there was at least two, considering the amount of activity and the overlapping steps and different sounds. They would wait until we were just about asleep, and the noise and ruckus would begin again. It was frightening and uncomfortable, and it seemed like they were tormenting and playing games with us. I was angry yet petrified at the same time. My wife was ready to go, and in about 3 minutes, we had packed up camp. What gets me is if they were kids or people, why did this behavior continue after my threat? After years of this going over and over in my mind, I have come to the conclusion that they were tormenting us to get the hell out of their space. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I just wanted to get away from the city and enjoy what was going to be my wife's last vacation. She was terminal at the time, and I felt like it was all my fault that I brought her there. We never talked much about it because I just got to the point where we couldn't explain it. I loved the woods for many years. I loved to hunt and fish, and would even skip school in my younger days to do so, but I just can't go back. I'm curious about Bigfoot, but scared by it at the same time. This event was a life changer, and I guess you would have had to be there to understand it. I spent hundreds of hours in the woods before that night, and on occasion, as a young man, felt uneasy in the woods alone, but nothing like this night in Toledo Bend. These creatures had intended to run us out of there. They wanted us gone, and we could feel it. I never thought this would happen to me. My wife and dog have passed on now, and I'm still here with these memories. Maybe I should have gone west. Well, Mike, that's an excellent story. We're definitely sorry for your loss there, buddy. And I'm sorry it took us so long to read it out. Daniela, she went through it and sent it to me. She spaces it out all nice for me, so because she knows I'll jack it up if she doesn't. But what do you think about that, Jake? I mean,
like they were toying with them, kind of, wait until they almost got asleep, start messing with them again.
The only thing is he didn't mention any like sounds. Sorry, I just heard a sound and it was my shower leaking. Yeah, he didn't mention like hearing whistles or moans or breath or anything like that. Not that that matters or really means anything, but I mean, I thought it would have been a little bit more confirmation. But if you hear 2 feet walking around, and I mean, you stick your head out and you don't see anything. That's these things. This is what they do. They're so good at fooling us and staying away and hidden. Maybe they were just curious, Mike. I don't know. Maybe they weren't trying to run you out. But I mean, I can understand how you could feel uneasy about it. Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is not knowing. I mean, that's the real deal. Is just not knowing what it is. What do you think, Daniela?
Well, sometimes I wonder that they must realize that campers leave eventually. And so you'd think they, if it was just to get rid of someone, they'd just sit back and think, okay, they're probably going to say a few days. So I don't know, maybe they could smell the fish.
I think they were looking for something to eat, brother. Coolers. I mean, I've heard so many stories of this. Mark Zasky has told me several that they've had when they've had a lot of group campouts down there in different places in Florida, that these things are just sitting there watching people camp, and they'll come in the night and go through the cooler. Look at the Sisters of the Moon. It happened to them twice, 2 different occasions. Something's messing around in the cooler or messing around in the trash. Taking out, one of them took out the chili and spit out all the beans. I thought that was kind of cool. Well, I guess they don't like beans, but they ate the rest of the chili. So, well, all right.
Well,
we had a bear one time that took our trash about 250 feet south of the house in the woods and ate everything out of the trash except the asparagus left over. And so, I don't know why I wouldn't want some.
Yeah, I love asparagus. That's
delicious.
That's the good stuff. Are you sure it was a bear?
Well, yeah, pretty sure. Neighbor saw it, but oh, geez.
Well, the neighbors could have saw a Bigfoot and said, "Hey, there goes a bear." Just saying. We talked about this the other night. How many people see something and say, "Oh, well, I saw a bear." How many times have Bigfoot been seen? I did Texas show Monday night. If you haven't, go subscribe to Trinity Paracryptid Research. If you haven't, go check his show out. He has on some big guns on that show. Not talking about myself, obviously. Like really big guns. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Jason. I like Jason, who's on there, and it's sketching.
Do what?
I like Jason, who does the sketches.
Oh yeah, Jason's really cool. You know, I met him at the conference down there when we filmed with Sisters of the Moon. And I mean, we didn't exchange recipes or anything, but I mean, we talked for a little bit. He's a really nice guy. I mean, getting to know him on that show and what he brings to it with alongside Tex, it's pretty good. All right, we got this next one. It's pretty short. This is Volusia County, Florida, 1976, and this is not far from where we're going to be, even though it's 44 years later. And it says, my encounter occurred approximately 2 a.m. in July of 1976 while driving down Taylor Road in Port Orange, Florida, just south of Daytona Beach. We know where that's at. At that time, this area was quite rural, and Taylor Road was only 2 lanes. The only major building on the road then, other than a few private homes, was my high school, Spruce Creek, which had opened the previous year. Today, I believe Taylor Road is a 6-lane roadway and quite congested, and the area is far from rural anymore. Shortly after turning onto Taylor Road from Tomoka Farms Road, I think, the headlights of the car I was riding in lit up a figure on the side of the road, which caught my eye. We were traveling quite slowly at the time, and from the movement, I first spotted the figure, and my eyes didn't leave it. Excuse me. The closer we got to the figure, the slower we went. After realizing it was not a person, I had trouble comprehending exactly what I was seeing. But what I did see was a creature squatted on the side of the road, just on the edge of the roadway. It was squatted and picking something from the ground and placed what it was picking in its other hand folded up against his body. Man, that's hard to read. From time to time, it would taste or smell what it was picking. When the creature realized we were closely approaching, it lifted its head and looked directly at me. Our eyes locked and didn't break until we decided to move it and get out of there. The creature didn't look angry or frightened. It looked more quizzical. Is that a word? Quizzical? Okay. Than anything else. It looked quizzical. I didn't attempt to move. It didn't attempt to move, walk, or run away. I would estimate that if standing, the creature would have stood approximately 7 to 7.5 feet tall and weighed between 400 and 500 pounds, although all of its hair made it look heavier than it was. It was covered with long, somewhat wavy and matted Irish setter red-colored hair. The hair on its chest wasn't as thick and long as the rest of its body. Hair covered the face, but the hair on the face was short. No hair covered the palms of the hands. I'm going to leave that alone too. It had fingers, from what I could tell, from what I could see, toes as well. So it had fingers and toes. Okay. The head was round, and the top of the head had long hair like on other parts of the body. After realizing what we were looking at, we quickly drove away, I think more confused than anything else. I'm certain this couldn't have been a person. It was too real and too large. After getting home, I thought about calling somebody, but was afraid if I reported it, someone might hurt or kill whatever it was. I'm not sure anyway if anybody that I told would believe me anyway. A lot of anyways in there. I've never forgotten one thing about this experience, and my memories of the creature is vivid in my mind as if it happened yesterday. Coincidentally, the property where I saw what I'm sure was a skunk ape, bush native, was a place where my best friend and I regularly rode horses, but we never saw anything before or after this sighting out of the ordinary. I spoke to the man who owned the property, and the only odd thing he could report was that he had a terrible time that summer with something or someone stealing his vegetables from his garden. Do 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 do. It's a mystery. What's stealing the vegetables? What's stealing the vegetables, Jake? Boogers. Straight up.
Probably looking at boogers.
I think so. I do think so. No, we haven't done in a while. We haven't given anything away.
Oh, that's.
Did we just quit? Did we just quit giving things away?
No.
Well, yeah. Well,
let's see. Do I have a picture? I'll have to go to brand and see if I have a picture of. Oh, please go away. No, we do not. I do not see one.
What are you looking for?
The Dixie Cryptid stickers. Let's give away some of those. Let's give away some Dixie Cryptid stickers.
They're there.
Yeah, they are. So you know right where to see. This is why you produce the show, and I'll just sit here and look pretty.
Exactly.
Jake, what are you doing?
Well, I'm fixing to.
Fixing it.
Well, we're gonna give something away too here, kids at home. That's a picture of Adam in 1998. I'll have him sign it.
A picture,
mail that to you.
An autographed picture of Adam from 1998
in the ski shop up in.
Where is Adam?
Upstate.
By the way.
SARS.
SARS.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. That's right. He still has coronavirus. Well, we're praying for him. I thought he just didn't like us anymore and decided, he's going to quit. So
no, plate's real full tonight.
Understand? You don't have to tell us. We won't pry. Where is he? No, I'm kidding.
Honest, it was all his idea. Carl, come on.
Carl did something with him. I knew he did. All right. So what's are you going to ask a BLB question? So Miss Elizabeth can get it right.
Yeah. She is the Sasquatch Lady PA. Is that?
Yeah, something from the new season.
Do you want a few minutes to think about it? Because I think, should we just mention this? Because Five Hazel has there's a prayer group going on for the expedition.
There he is. Mike Stetton is leading that up. I'll tell you what, he's on the Facebook group, and if he's not here tonight, I'll message him. Yeah, and something happened in there that really aggravated me. He was just letting everybody know what he was doing, and there were several people that commented that he was being deceptive, that they thought we were going down there, and they wanted people for us to pray for us to get good evidence of Bigfoot, and that's not what it was. That it was a ridiculous assertion, and it really upset me. And I'm sorry, Daniela, but I took those people out of the Facebook group. I did. I normally don't have anything to do with it, but I did. I took them out because it was just wrong, absolutely wrong. How did I do that?
I saw.
I love to hear the ding. Sorry. Yeah, and just want to be clear. Where we're going is dangerous. And I think what he's doing, putting this together, and it's not just his idea. There are a lot of people doing this, but he's got hundreds of people that are going to be praying for our safety. And I mean, that's just we can't we can't express how much we appreciate that. All the guys, whether you believe or not, it's it's just a very humbling thing for someone else. It's a selfless act, and that was that was just the comments that were put behind it were just wrong. I'm sorry, had to say that. So yeah, Hazel, the link. If you guys just go to the Bigfoot Odyssey Facebook group, or you can message me. I'll let Mike know after this, and we'll put on the Bigfoot Odyssey Facebook group exactly when it's going to happen and all that. Actually, I talked to him on the phone for like 2 hours one day. He's such a great guy. Had just come out of having heart surgery and thinking of nothing but other people. So it's very awesome. Thank you, Hazel.
I've got the post if you want me to just show it quickly.
You do?
Yeah. Just the the outline of what he wrote, because it's a nice gesture for him to.
It was. Attention prayer warriors, from March 1st through 31st, 2020. I am beginning a very important prayer chain called Expedition Prayer Shield. I have friends that will be on a very dangerous expedition to film a wildlife documentary. The wildlife in this area pose an extremely dangerous threat. I felt led by the Lord to create a dedicated support team that will stand in the gap for them and will cover these friends, and with a shield of divine protection, that Almighty God would grant them wisdom, strength, and discernment, that their equipment will work properly without fail, and that their goals would be realized during this very challenging trek. Please join me each day and or night during the month of March and share the request with as many churches, ministries, prayer groups, Bible studies, and praying individuals that you know who will faithfully commit themselves to this daily task. We will also need those who can pray during the AM hours as well. We need your help to reach as many people as possible with this prayer request, even to those around the world. If you can help in any way, it would be greatly appreciated. May God richly bless each and every one of you as we join hands and pray together in one accord. Thank you sincerely, Mike Stetton. I mean, what is wrong with that?
Nothing.
All right.
That's awesome. The awesome energy you guys are going to receive from that.
Yeah. And
can't touch that with a stick.
That's right. Thank you, Mike, for all that. I don't think he's here tonight. He's usually here, but I don't think he's here tonight. All right, let's go on to the next. We have only exhausted half of this show, and I've got one more story to read. So what I think I'll do is find another.
Jake's got one as well, and I can get you one now if you want.
You know what? Go ahead, Jake.
I have a question too.
Let's do yours. You got your question? Let's do it.
Sure. What did Nolan in season 2, the BLB kitchen episode? Nolan was in charge of cooking one thing for dinner. What was it?
Dun dun dun.
Well, just
Nolan was in charge of cooking one thing for dinner.
Yeah.
This is season 2 of the BLB. What was he cooking?
Yeah, what was he cooking in there?
SoCal said, read slow. Gee, thanks, SoCal. Steak. Food. Barry Browning says food.
Yeah.
Is it steak?
Slapping
What is it?
that steak on the grill.
Is it steak?
He slapped the steak.
Is it steak? Is that true?
That's correct, sir.
Lindsay Bay, congratulations. You are the proud winner of, because she said steak. You win an autographed picture of what in the world is that?
That's Adam's gut.
Oh, okay. It looked terrible. I didn't want to say.
Oh, it's a belly button. That's some hair on it. Is it awkward in here?
What?
Moving on. Who?
Is she getting both of those pictures or what?
Jeez Louise. I don't know. I think I'm going to get
an autograph
picture.
She's going to get an autograph picture of Adam. So when you guys are really famous, that'll be worth a lot because that's him in 1996.
Yeah, don't
24 years ago.
Don't hold your breath on that.
Hey, real quick, I want everybody, when this is over, to go and subscribe to LA Swamp Ape, Carl Gotro. He only needs 51 more people to get to 1,000. He's going to be able to go live from his phone in the field, and that's a really big deal. And he's going to be able to, he'll be able to narrate and explain a lot more things because they put out some pretty interesting videos. And when we go down there and do a little follow up, I'm going to show you how to edit some of that stuff, Carl. I learned a trick or two, but yeah, it's going to be LA Swamp Ape. That's Carl and Rachel Gotro's main channel. He only needs 51 more. Daniela, did you get your 1,000? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Oh, you muted yourself.
She did.
Yeah.
Daniela, look, if you haven't subscribed to Hidden Existence, that's Daniela's new channel. That's going to be where you guys go when Researchers Report backs up to 1 day a week. I mean, you guys can go there now. She has an awesome show every Friday, but you're going to pick up the slack here, right? You're going to start doing 2 shows.
I'm doing 2 shows. I'm doing Fridays and Sundays.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to pick up slack for us here. So people have some place to go.
I'll do some on a Saturday maybe as well. So there'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
If you want to do, well, yeah, we'll talk about it, but yeah.
We'll talk about it.
You want to do Wednesdays, don't you? Wednesdays.
Well, we've got more travel episodes that are going to be coming after the expedition. Once the expedition comes, you're going to have all that to watch. And then we're going to have travel episodes for the rest of the year. So we've got to cut down. I can't do as many shows on this one. So it's just going to take up too much time. I love doing it. I really enjoy doing it every single time we have anybody on. I just 1 day a week. And I don't know if we're going to do Wednesday or Saturday. I haven't decided, but one of them is going to go. So sorry. But all right. Once again, go subscribe. LA Swamp Ape. He only needs 51 more. Maybe it's less than that by now. I don't know. So the winner was who won?
Lindsay Bay.
Oh, Lindsay. Yes. Congratulations, Lindsay. You get a prize picture of Adam. I'm sure he will appreciate that very much. This last story we had planned is so good. This thing is so good. You know what I think we might do? I think we'll do a little Q&A at the end about the expedition since it's so close. That's what we'll do after this. Daniela sent me this today, and it says Daniela narration in the subject. She put wow, and you're gonna understand why just about halfway through this. So buckle up. This is Anderson County, Texas, Palestine 75801. On August 5th, 2001 at 03:13 Central Time, that's 3:13 in the morning, on U.S. Highway 287, which is 31 miles west. Let me slow down for SoCal. Which is 31 miles west of Palestine, Texas. I was traveling westbound at 65 miles an hour when I saw what looked like a bear cub or a very large dog sitting in the middle of the road. I slowed down to 15 miles an hour. Excuse me. I hit my high beams and stopped about 20 yards away from the animal. I put on my 4-way flashers, turned on my interior spotlight. As I looked up, I saw a huge bipedal creature that I would call Bigfoot, that I would call a bush native. I walked from the soft shoulder of the road. It walked. I'll do that because I can't see. It walked from the soft shoulder of the road to the animal in the road. As he, I'm pretty sure it was a male, walked in front of my tractor, he shielded his eyes, not seemingly out of shyness, but more as an effort to protect his eyes from the bright lights. I reduced my headlights to low beam, but decided not to turn them off as I was in the middle of the highway. Good idea, brother. I was doing my best to protect them by blocking the road with my tractor trailer. The big male went over to what I realized was a toddler. He grabbed its shoulder and attempted to grab the little one's arm. The little one scooted away like a child trying to get away from a parent that wants the child to go somewhere and the child doesn't want to go. The little one had greater agility than the big male. The little one squirmed, scrambled, and scooted farther up the road from where they were. Then something caught my eye and ear directly next to my driver window. I casually looked over, and within 2 feet of my face was a female. No doubt female. She had nursing breasts. And in brackets, it says extended nipples. I'm sure Daniela put that in there just to make me say that. Okay, it was a female. Definitely a girl.
Excited.
Her eyes were almost even with my eye level. I measured from where the top of her head came up to my mirror. It was 7 foot 4 inches tall. The male was at least 1 foot taller than her, plus some. She had a gamey smell, but didn't stink. Immediately upon seeing her, I smiled with all the teeth I have. From the interior spotlight, which was pointed down toward my lap, I'm sure she was able to see me clearly. I certainly saw her clearly, so clearly I could smell and feel her breath. I could see her so clearly that I could smell and see. Okay. Smell her breath. All right. That kind of makes sense, I guess. I particularly noticed the volume of air that she breathed, not out of breath or even heavy breathing, just a large volume of air with each breath. I again smiled at her and asked, "Is the baby okay?" She slowly smiled back at me. I noticed a dental anomaly. Either she had a double row of teeth or crowns of her teeth were split on the top center to give the impression of 2 rows of teeth. She then reached into the tractor and stroked my beard like I do when I'm thinking. Like that, I suppose. Jake can probably do that pretty good. Yeah, maybe not like that.
Takes Jake longer.
Yeah, I think it was just one hand. My beard is mid-chest length and multicolored. It was then I realized the large male's head was identical to mine, although his beard was shorter. The female had thin facial hair on her chin. The rest of her hair/fur was dark brown with traces of gray and white on his shoulders, back, and chest. She was a mixture of brown and reddish brown hair, mostly reddish brown. As she took her hand off my beard and took her hand out of my tractor, I extended my hand out to her. She sandwiched my hand between her 2 hands. Her hands were 2 to 3 times larger than mine. Her hands felt like roughneck work gloves, rough leather. At this point, she gave me a soulful look. From her facial expressions and her watery eyes, I took it that she was saying, "Thank you for not running over my baby." The eyes were not dead eyes. They were bright and moist, just very dark brown, not black. The large male had the child under his left arm like a sack of potatoes, like me and my kids used to do. I never looked.
So I got this one. We can go ahead and get in the car.
Yeah, right.
Rounding up the natives.
Oh my goodness. He never looked directly at me as I watched him walk back into the tree line. I noticed at least 3 more. I suspected even more at the tree line. They ranged from the height of the female to slightly shorter, but none came close to the size of the male. I believe any use of deadly force would have been borderline homicide, no doubt in my mind. 21 years of investigating experience teaches you to observe, remember as much as you can, and immediately write it down. That is what I have done. The encounter ended at 03:17. So 4 minutes. It lasted 4 minutes, a long time. I have thought of 10 million things that I coulda, woulda, shoulda done if given the opportunity again. I know, however, this was a once in a lifetime event. No kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
Unreal.
That's exactly what Daniela wrote. She wrote wow, and I was like, okay, I got to read this right now. That's incredible. I mean, look, there is no way in the world this man was not aware of these creatures before this. No way. He had to either know or truly believe that these creatures existed, in my estimation, for him to act this way when he sees this, to recognize what it is immediately and then look over to your left and see one right there and not completely freak out. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind that he either already knew or he believed wholeheartedly that these creatures already existed. And truck drivers, I mean, they see strange stuff. I mean, it's just the way it is.
But also,
And,
10 was to smile and show.
right. And yeah, that's usually a sign of aggression, you know, for the great apes anyway. That's what they say. The experts that watch gorillas and chimpanzees, when they show their teeth, you know, it's when they're angry. But you know, apparently this creature, who in my estimation again, these creatures are emotionally intelligent. You know, if it happened exactly that way, he smiles, she realizes it's not an aggressive type of thing going on there, you know, and even smiled back. So
I think the eyes as well can say a lot. When you're smiling, your eyes can either look aggressive or you can look happy, you know. So maybe they could read, she could read his eyes as well.
right. Yeah, that
Close
was
enough to stroke his beard, close enough to really, that's too close. Comfort.
2 feet away. Look, a 7'4" female standing right there by your truck. You're watching dad, you know, chase this baby that's scooting around all over the place trying to get away from him. You know, brings back some memories actually of me and my kids. He finally gets a hold of him and then walks into the bushes. She's like shaking his hand. Thank you, you know, for not running over my kid.
And he said that there was more in the woods, like 3 more in the woods. Was it
3
like
more he could see.
party?
Yeah, 3 more that he could see, but it's suspected that there were even more than that. And
Were they migrating?
yeah, who knows what they're probably they're watching to make sure the baby wasn't getting, you know, tire tracks on it.
You just can't imagine looking at something so tall, can you? And just unless you've seen it.
Yeah,
That's
it's just scary.
yeah.
Scary stuff. Hey man, your phone is leaking.
Hey.
I have a question here, and this is you know on the expedition that's coming up. You know, I'm leaving out on the morning of the 19th. Going to get down there and set everything up. 20th we start filming officially. Not sure where yet. There's about 7 or 8 different spots around this area that we're going to be hitting during all times during the day and night, and putting out recorders and doing our thing, shooting this program. What are you and Adam gonna do, Jake? Are you guys gonna still report on this or what?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you gonna do that with Daniela? Are you coming down? Or are you gonna do it from?
That's some of the intangibles. I don't know.
Okay.
We have a new set, quote unquote new set. Ooh. Well, let's just say, yeah, we got some stuff in the works.
Okay. Fair enough. What we know for sure is Daniela's going to come on the channel here every night. We'll try to do it at the same time. And we'll do a live broadcast from the field and just kind of give updates, how things are going. And we may not give away a whole lot, but just let you guys know, you know, we definitely appreciate everybody. I went through and wrote down all the names. 176 different people donated for us to do this, all the way from $5 to $600. And Brandon Shoma actually put in a ton. I think he put in a total of $1,000 and is flying from Hawaii to do the expedition to help us get this thing done this way. And just what an awesome guy he is. A lot of selfless stuff going on here, and we have a lot of backing from a lot of the community. It's got a lot of buzz. Wes Germer's put it out there, and so it's out there. I think people are actually looking forward to seeing this thing once we get it done, and looking forward to getting it done. Actually, does anybody have any questions for us? We'll take this last bit. I don't want to do another story. I mean, not that they're not great and all, but we'll fill this time since Jake doesn't want to give away too much. They haven't really worked things out. I've done nothing but order things all week long. I had the drone built. Drone nerds built it for us, and they put the Bosun 320 thermal camera attached to it, and it comes with a different 7-inch LCD screen beside it and a mini DVR to record the thermal stuff. But you can change the palette on it. It's got 9 different settings that you can change the look and the color of the ambient temperature. So you can do it in the daytime. You just put that lighter palette on there and it only picks up the hotter stuff. And that's going to be our biggest weapon. Rented some good thermals on the ground. Clay rented a really good one. Got 2 sets of night vision binoculars coming in. Got 3 infrared torches, which is just an infrared flashlight. What you guys in England call a torch, we call a flashlight here. So that's what it is. Since they come from Europe, they're called IR torches, but they shoot like 150 yards out. It throws a spot, and that way, when you're shooting night vision in the woods, it just, you can't see it with your eyes, but when you look through the night vision, it lights up everything. Got that stuff. Linda ordered me some snake boots because she loves me. Because I asked her to order me some that she liked, so she got me some good snake boots. But yeah, what we got? Are y'all? Well, here we go. Hansi Adams. We emailed back and forth a few times there, Hansi, or you might have texted me. I can't remember. I talked to so many people. Are y'all worried all about government interference, FWC people? Oh, very little. I mean, there's nothing they can do. We have all our permits. So we're 100% legal to be on any public property around there. And plus there's some private property that we're going to be on also that kind of borders it, with permission, of course. Yeah, so there's nothing they can do. They can't, unless we do something illegal. That's the only thing. We are allowed to be out there even at night. So kind of worried about them hassling us maybe, but not worried that there's anything that they're going to be able to do to us, like run us off out of there. Carl Gotro had one there. I can't scroll down to it though. There it is. Kerry, did you check the moon phase? Yes, we did. And when we had planned to go, it was going to be right in the middle of it was going to be the full moon. So now it's going to be new moon. So it's going to be pretty dark at night out there, which I think is going to work better to our advantage, Carl. That is going to be so dark out there at night. It's dark in the daytime in some of those places. It's like the jungle. Not much different than if you were in the jungle.
What's the canopy like down there?
It's actually kind of 2-tiered. You've got a lot of palm trees, like date palms and coconut palms all over the place, and pine trees mixed along in it. But there's like this vine stuff that's very leafy that grows 15-20 feet up, and it grows all through the trees. So not a lot of light gets through there. It's going to be a challenge flying the drone through there, but the drone that I got has got sensors on all 6 sides. So it won't let you run into anything, which is going to be very, very important at night, flying it through the trees. So it may be kind of slow going.
Ranch Band 1-3. So game plan in climate weather sets in.
Yes, we're prepared for whatever contingency you can think of. We've had 6 months to plan this. We've got rain parkas. Our cameras are waterproof. The action cams are waterproof. We've got guys that are going to be doing oversight for us at the campsites. Jeff Townsend's going to be doing that, a lot of that, and Brandon Shoma. All the guys, really. We're just going to be swapping out doing that, but they're going to be watching the weather. Everybody's going to know by radio where everybody is at any given moment, so nobody gets and I'll tell you what concerns me, and Mark Zasky said this too. We talked about this for about an hour yesterday on the phone. Is the 2 guys that went missing out there, is 2 campers that they still have found no trace of. And we talked a little bit about that, and you know, that's not the first time that's happened. It had happened before several years ago, and Mark and Melanie just happened to be out there, and it all got swept under the rug. So they're not going to be able to sweep this under the rug. If something happens to any one of us, we've got hundreds of people that can get the word out. Hey, these guys went down here to do this, and this is what happened. Not that I think that's going to happen or that's a real fear, but you know, if we're going to cover all the bases, let's cover them all. We are going to be in the woods with hogs and alligators at night, so bad things can happen. But yeah, we're preparing for everything we can. Hansi, for sure. Andy gone fishing. How are y'all going to canvass the expedition zones? That's actually a good question. You know, our first rule of thumb here is, I'm sorry I do this. That has just been bothering me. Our first rule of thumb was not to get out of eyesight of anyone else. Someone should always be in eyesight, earshot. Obviously, we're going to have the radios. Everybody's got an earpiece. They got a radio. They work up to 36 miles away. So all the radio stuff, you know, you press a little button and talk. So no one has to yell at anyone. You can speak to each other. And that's going to come in handy in a situation where we may have the drone in the air, and I'm flying the drone and I see something, I spot something, and I see the guys, and I can kind of direct them in, you know, around this creature and get guys in position to where someone can walk in there and maybe flush it out, where we get it on thermal, we get it on the ground, we get it from a lot of different angles moving. That's what we're trying to do here, is we're going to catch these creatures on camera because they're going to be watching us. No doubt they're going to be watching us, and from all the camera angles we're going to have, we're going to catch them. We just want to catch them moving, because you can't say pareidolia, you know,
right,
when it's moving.
Yeah,
it's the big thing.
Drone's going to be a changer, I
hope. Let's see. Robert Allen says, have you read Truth Denied by Scott Carpenter? No, I haven't yet, man. I don't have time these days to read anything. I would love to. Linda gets all the books. She gets the Missing 411. She gets everybody's Bigfoot book that comes out. She orders it. So, I mean, she orders it through Bigfoot Odyssey. So we contribute that way, but she reads them. So that would really be a good question for her. We need to get her on here whenever she's not working. Let's see. Peter, you're going to do tree knocks and whoops and howls. What's the strategy? No, I don't think we're going to do any of that. And the only reason that we're not going to is because you don't hear a lot of that down there. You know, Zasky, when I first started going out with them, they would go in and take 5 pounds of apples, and they would go to this one spot and just throw them across the little canal there. It's like a 20-foot wide canal, goes for like 10 miles. They would go to this one spot and throw all 5 pounds of apples in this one spot. Well, after a while, as soon as they would walk in, they would start hearing knocking from that direction. And I think the theory is that they were saying, hey, we're here, come throw the apples over here. And then one day it just quit. And we kind of thought, well, this is what's happening. We're coming in here, throwing the apples, and they're letting everybody else know that we're throwing the apples by doing the knocking. So I said, I think they quit knocking because they wanted the apples for themselves. So it made sense. There's no real way to know, but it was just kind of odd, I think. The one thing Mark did tell me, and this is a testament to how smart these creatures are, and just how much you can't fool them. You know, we're not going to try to fool these creatures other than just try not to let them know that we're there for them. You know, we're just gonna try to ignore as much as we can and document and work with each other. But Mark Zasky did this with Melanie one day. He did it for like a week. He would there's this thing that's called a date palm, and they grow kind of weird. They'll grow, you know, curvy like that, and they're not really tall. And there's this one in this one spot, and he would sneak down there as they'd come in. He would have her go down the levee, and he would go to this one spot, and he would sit on this date palm. Well, they weren't just throwing apples, they were throwing peanut butter jars, and they would have like DNA traps set up, these little peanut butter jars, and he would take the lid and just wrench it on there as hard as he could. And they had probably thrown 20 at this point. You know, a lot of peanut butter was out there, a lot of jars anyway. Well, for like 4 days in a row, he's trying to go down here to this spot where she can walk down, and he's hoping he can catch them looking at her from this good angle, you know. Well, they never did. They caught things, but not what he was wanting to catch, you know. And it might have been the 5th or 6th time he was going to go down there and do this. He gets down there to a spot, and sitting on that tree is a lid to the peanut butter jar, just the lid. Now, what does that tell you? Hey, we know you're sitting here, dude. Bring us some more of this stuff. You know, I mean,
nice try, peanut butter.
Yeah, nice try. Bring us some more peanut butter. So I mean, you're not gonna fool them. We're not gonna try to fool them like that. We're gonna try to appeal to their more primal instincts. We're gonna do some fighting with each other, pretend fighting. Obviously, hopefully, it'll be pretend fighting. You know, just kind of arguing and pushing and wrestling around with each other. And then we're going to do the baby crying. We'll do that with the fake campsite, and we've got static cameras that we're going to set up for that. And it all may fail miserably. It all just might do that. I don't think it will. Some of these things, I believe, are going to work. The things that Mark Zasky does, because he's failed hundreds of times. You know, he's already made the mistakes. That's why I'm glad we have him. He's going to put us in a position where he knows these creatures like to sit and watch others. And we're going to do something that no one else ever does in there, and that's walk in on them. We're going to go into their living room and just act like we know nothing. So we'll see how that works. We're going to use the thermal drone for recon, and we may spread out a little, but we're not going to get too far away from one another. No, that's just, to me, that's not a smart thing out there. Let's see. Uh-oh, I missed it. Snoring calls them in. Put Mark Newbill on that. We're actually going to do that, Rick. We absolutely are. We're going to have a lot of night vision cameras around our campsite, and because we think they come in and get in people's coolers, and we're going to give them the opportunity to do that. Here's another one from Hansi. Do you think they know you're coming? Now, that's kind of a loaded question. Do I think they know that we specifically are coming down there? That would suggest that they are clairvoyant in some way, and just can either see the future, or they just can feel it somehow that we're coming down there. I don't think so. I don't want to say no, because it could be. I don't know how we would ever know that. But there are people that believe these creatures are clairvoyant, and that's how they're so successful at staying away. They just they know when you're coming, what you're going to do. But I don't know. I think it's I think it's a lot simpler than that. I think it's basically they're so strong and so fast and so comfortable in the worst things we can possibly imagine. Places that normal people just won't go, they're comfortable in it, and the way they can move, and so apparently move so low to the ground, you just hear them leave, and you don't know what it was. Obviously, you didn't see it, but that thermal drone is going to be hard to get away from. What
You're
else
going to be
we got?
able to put everything on the thermal, aren't you? Gators, the lot. So
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to catch a lot of are the gators, because it's going to be mating season for the alligators, which is works against us and for us at the same time. Works against us because they're not going to be around water; they're going to be everywhere. And but to catch two big bulls fighting and put that on the film, how awesome would that be? And to see other wildlife out there, other all the flora and fauna that's out there, and not to mention um the evidence that these creatures are there, the footprints, the they still break trees, they'll pull up whole trees and just set them aside, and the deep trenches that they dig, they'll dig it 8 feet long, 2 3 feet deep, 3 or 4 feet wide. It's like a shallow grave, and I think they lay down in it and cover themselves like near deer trails or hog trails. So theory, I'm definitely not the expert on this, and I don't think anyone else is either, for that matter. All right. What else we got?
I'm just looking now.
Enthusiasts.
Are you going to place where Mark saw the athletic one?
We're gonna go there at night. Yes. That's going to be one of the night treks. There's about 7 different places that we're going to hit in about a 20 square mile area, all around there. And then different guys are going to go to different places. And like I said, logistically, it's hard to work out completely without knowing what's going to happen. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear. Some guys may decide to stay at the campsite. Some may decide to go to the hotel room and charge batteries or get a shower. But we have several different campsites because you can't have that many people in one campsite. So we had to get different permits for different campsites around that area. So yeah, it's still South Florida at the end of March. It's going to be kind of warm in the daytime and cool at night. We're still expecting some big mosquitoes, but I think we're prepared for that. So.
Here's another one from Honzi Adams. Kerry, are you going to be able to handle another personal encounter?
I think so. Because I've been preparing myself for this. I went for a very long time having a very specific feeling about these creatures, and that hasn't really changed that much. But preparing for this and putting myself in a position where I couldn't back out. There's no way I can back out of this. It's been out there too long, too much buzz. We've collected too much money. There's no way I would totally ruin my reputation. Not that it's not ruined already, but with the Bigfoot community, and that would bother me more than ruining my reputation with the general public. So yeah, I'm gonna go down there. I'm determined to go in where normal people just won't go. I'm a woodsman, had been for 30 years, but before I quit. So, I still haven't forgotten all those things. I still know the woods pretty good. I know other animals pretty good and animal sign. I think I'm going to be okay. A face-to-face personal encounter, I'm going to do my job. And that's how I have to look at this. We have a job to do, and we have to make the proper sacrifices to get it done. I waited for a very long time for someone else to do this the way that I thought it needed to be done, to get what I thought people were going to have to do, what you're going to have to go through to get the good evidence. And no one's been doing it. People go out, yeah, on trail. They even camp out. Most people that research Bigfoot go look for evidence, and then at night wait for them to come in to them. That's not what we're doing here. We may do that at some point, but we're going in after them. We're going into their home. We're either going to rush them out of there. They're either going to stand up against us or run away from us, one or the other. But to do it and film, to be filming constantly and recording constantly, so we don't miss anything. We'll have no excuse for missing anything.
Kathy Spencer's asking, are you going to attempt to perform any mind speak experiments while you're
Kathy, look, this is what I think about mind speak. There is a particular energy, electromagnetic energy, that will make you hear voices. And we've taken a millimeter into these places, and it has spiked up to 300 milligauss. Now, this is in the woods. You can take it inside your house and put it by an electrical outlet and get 2 milligauss, which is pretty high. 300 milligauss is off the charts. And if you're around that long enough, you will get disoriented. You will hear voices. You will get that feeling that you're being watched. That feeling will come upon you. Sick at your stomach, lost time. I think something's happening here with EMF. Whether they're controlling it or they're just, I don't know. But I think a lot of those things, I don't want to say mind speaking telepathy isn't possible. It could be that very thing. If I hear something talking to me in my head, I'm going to talk back to it. I'm going to ask you 10,000 questions. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to initiate anything like that. I think I'm going to be too focused and worried about other things to think about that. But if it happens, I'm going to respond, and I'll tell you guys about it. I'm going to tell you every single thing that happens. I'm not holding anything back. Paranormal stuff, anything, the stuff I don't really put a whole lot of stock in. If it happens, I'm going to tell you. If it changes my mind, changes how I feel, then it does. It's going to have to happen to me, though.
That's fair enough.
Fair enough. I hope that is fair. I really do. We're going to try to do this the right way and show you guys every single step that we're making, and then telling the story about these guys that are out there doing it. Like I said, I'm not going to be in this thing a whole lot. You may hear my voice every now and then do a narration or a lead in, but these guys that are going, it's about them and what they're experiencing and going through. I'm just going to happen to be there with them when they do it, filming them do this. And if it comes down to it, they won't go in, then I will. And I'll have to hand somebody the filming camera and they can film me doing it. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go in, and I'm going to go in right there with them. So telling the story is going to be the important part. Getting the evidence is really secondary, even though I think we're going to get really good evidence.
And I think ultimately, until you get there, you really, not that you're not going to know what's happened, but you're going to be much better off actually being there in situ.
I think so. Because I freak out about it every day now, just knowing that it's upon us, it's here, it's time. I don't have months anymore. It's literally weeks away now, and then before long we'll be on our way down there. And I think I'll be okay once I get there. All the guys are around. We get a really good game plan of how we're going to do this. I already know how I want to film it, so that's going to be. I have something else to focus on, which is going to be good for me. Absolutely. You're welcome, Kathy Spencer. Absolutely. Anytime. How much time we got left? Oh, we're over.
We're over.
Well, if no one else has anything important to ask, we're going to call it a show. What do you think?
I think it's been a good show.
Yeah,
I think you got a ton of people pulling for you guys. We're
very blessed to have the kind of friends we have. That's the kind of base and support that Bigfoot Odyssey has, that it's always had. And I know most people, are here for the travel show, or are subscribed to the show for the travel show. But you guys that come on the live, it's great every single time. I love it. I love doing it. And maybe when we get another set of the travel series out and done, that we'll go back to doing more live shows, and just to have something out there. I hear it a lot of comments. Kerry, I wish you would do we would love to do them. That's a time and money thing usually for us, mostly time, so we do this instead. And to me, this is better than nothing. I hope it's better than nothing. I mean, if it's not better than nothing, then just don't watch. That's all I can say. So, but you guys do, and we love you for it. So thank you. Adam,
Jake.
What happened?
Jake. Sorry, man. I was
yeah, well, you know,
Jake, I just wanted to tell you thank you and tell Adam thank you also. You guys are going to be a big part of this too, and helping just bring some of the word to the people and what we're doing, what's going on, with Daniela. You guys are going to be here every night, right? While we're down.
Do what we can.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's coming on us. Who we got coming on Saturday, Daniela?
We've got Chris Reinhardt and Shane Carpenter coming on to talk about some interesting stuff, actually.
Into the 400. Isn't that ready to come out?
Yeah. I think it's out.
Is it?
Sure. Well, Chris has got some really interesting stuff, some stuff he's been studying, and he's going to be talking about some sort of theories he's got, opinions he's got that are interesting. I don't want to give anything away because
well, Shane's great. He's been on here a couple times, and it's always a good show when Shane is on here. So, yeah, that's going to be good. That's this Saturday, 7:00 p.m. Central. Don't forget, go to Lele Swamp 8 and help Carl Gotro get to 1,000 subscribers. It was at 51. I don't know how many he needs now, but he definitely appreciates that. You'll be able to watch him go live from his area right there instead of just having to do it from the laptop. You got to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours, I think, in order to go live on your mobile.
Just 1,000 subs to go live.
Okay, just 1,000 subs. I don't know why that is, but well, maybe just to keep the traffic down, probably. Yeah, that makes sense. But Jake, thanks again, man, for showing up. Go subscribe to the Blueline Bigfoot on YouTube, Hidden Existence on YouTube, and hey, Mark and I are getting ready to put out another episode of A to Z. You can find that on Patreon. It's in the description. Mark and Kerry, A to Z. We appreciate everyone that's participating in that. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a good night and take care.
Good night, everyone.